Ryan. Hi, this is Sarah Palin.
Ryan, Donald Trump Jr.
Hogs to win, see ya. Hey, everybody, I want y'all to check out a fellow Marines podcast.
My name is Ted Nugent, and I got a call from my buddy Ryan F. Samuels, and he wants me to tell you that he's a working hard, playing all-American son of a who is celebrating God, family, country.
Welcome to the Ryan Samuels Show, one of the top political podcasts in the United States, where we have a healthy distrust for government and mainstream media. The Ryan Samuels Show is a raw, unfiltered look at American politics. Follow on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Rumble, and all podcast platforms. Here is your host, Ryan Samuels.
Good evening, Patriots. Welcome to the show. We have a really good show tonight. Wirecast. We're going to break down a couple of key things that are going on in the United States of America. Number one, as we head into America's 250th birthday celebration, the right side of the aisle seems to just be fracturing. Tucker Carlson says he's done with the GOP after 35 years. He can't support endless foreign wars over America First priorities like borders and families. This is his statement. This is what he's saying. Now he's pushing a third party after my own battles and that I've had with the Republican Party. Washington oftentimes does forget the real fights at home and does chase overseas conflicts. I don't think that is what is happening here with Mamdani, though. I'm sorry, with Tucker Carlson. I don't think that's what's happening. I don't. We're going to get to that. We're going to cover that. We're going to go over that, and we're going to discuss it. So the other thing is Mayor Mamdani, the socialist mayor of New York City, tells his sweltering residents to make sure that they keep their air conditioning at a scorching 78 degrees. This is insane and unacceptable, but this is what happens in socialist societies. We're going to go over that. We're going to cover that. Save the grid, he says, quote unquote, while City Hall stays cool. Doesn't apply to them. Elites love rules for thee, but not for me. In Florida, we handle heat pretty well with self-reliance, solar wells, and preparations, and not necessarily mandates, right? And then this weekend, as Trump speaks at Mount Rushmore and we mark 250 years, we remember the founders, the principles, liberty, faith, family, pray, gather with loved ones, and recommit defending this republic. Strong borders, real independence. We've got more coming up. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Tonight, the major story, or one of them, is Tucker Carlson has left the Republican Party and is helping build a third party. We'll cover the details, the history of third parties, like Ross Perot's Reform Party, which has a lot of coincidences with this, and why this is happening now. Okay, Tucker Carlson announced in June 2026 that he is out of the GOP. On a podcast, he stated there was no chance he would support the Republican Party, citing its direction on foreign policy, specifically U.S. involvement in the war with Iran. He argued the party was not putting America's interests first. He's entirely and utterly wrong. the war with Iran is America interest first. I don't understand this right side of the kick anti-Israel. Israel's in charge of everything. The United States is working for Israel. I don't understand it because in this interest, Israel's interest is our interest. Not every one of Israel's interest is our interest. But what we learned on 9/11 is that radical Islamists will attack the United States if they're mad at Israel. So by allowing Iran to have a nuclear weapon, you're effectively signing up your own demise. That's just the reality of it. And I understand Tucker's position. I understand what he's saying, but he's completely wrong. In a July 1st interview with the Columbian Journalist Review, Carlson went further. I'm going to help build a third party. Good luck with that. There's going to be a third party, and I'm going to do everything I can to bring that about. He described the current system as one-party state posing as a democracy, with both major parties aligned on foreign wars, foreign policy, and finance. His emphasis is on domestic issues facing average Americans, stagnant wages, declining life expectancy, and priorities that benefit working families over elite interests. Carlson has said he has no plans to run for office. This comes after years of prominent conservative voice, including strong support for America First policies. The Iran conflict appears to be a key trigger, viewed by Carlson as a shift away from non-interventionism and toward policies influenced by foreign considerations. Now, to understand the significance, we need to look at the history of the third parties in the United States. But let's take a look. There's a couple people that responded to what Tucker had to say, and one of them was Ben Shapiro, and he kind of hits the nail on the head. So I'm going to let Ben do the talking here.
This is a demonstration. So
here's the thing. I hope Tucker launches a third party. Why? Because it'll get crushed. Third parties get crushed. I would love to see a clean referendum on Tucker's perverse views, but he's not going to do that. That's not actually the game. Here's the game. Tucker knows, Tucker sees that Republicans are probably going to have a bad 26. What he wants is to say that the reason that Republicans had a bad 26 is because they alienated key people like him. And thus, if you wish to win in 28, you need to shift the entire policy-making direction of the party back in Tucker Carlson's direction. Tucker is not launching the Reform Party. Tucker is launching the DSA, or the TSA, the Tucker Socialists of America. His goal is for Republicans to lose in 2026. He wants, he's not hiding the ball here. He has said he's not voting Republican. He wants Republicans to lose. He is here to demoralize conservatives prior to 2026. That is the goal. The worse Republicans do, the more Tucker can then try and pretend that the reason Republicans lost is because they disappointed voters like Tucker Carlson. Now, again, the reality is that if Republicans lose in 26, there will be a lot of factors. It's an off-year election. Trump is unpopular and has been unpopular for legitimately a year at this point. But if Republicans don't do well in 2026, it's not because Tucker and his 5 friends didn't vote for Republicans, but that's the entire game. The entire game is to say, I'm launching a third party because there's so much anger. There is so much upset that my third party is a legitimate force in American politics, but he's not going to do that because that would actually test the proposition. He's not going to do that. That is the goal. Don't you see? Don't you get it? You need us, Republican Party. You must shift all of your policy prescriptions over toward the pro-Putin, pro-Iran, pro-China, anti-America side. You have to do that. What Tucker is doing here is not launching some sort of rival to the Republican Party. He's standing outside the Republican Party and then saying that because they didn't hand it to him, that's why we lost. That's the goal. And that is just yet another reason why we actually have to fight. Because people who care about the country, people who deeply care about those fundamental principles of America, the stuff we're going to be celebrating this weekend, we actually have to fight 2 forces. One is the left, along with the DSA, and the other is the force of their twisted allies on the woke right, who are holding hands with them, who are hugging them. There is a reason why Tucker Carlson and Cenk Uygur are hugging buddies now. Our principles matter. Some of us have had the same principles for our entire political careers. Some of us have never moved, not one iota. Some of us have always defended private property and free markets. Some of us have always defended peace through strength. Some of us have always defended traditional virtue and traditional values. Some of us have not moved. We've been here the entire time. That is why the Daily Wire exists. It's why it was founded. Not just as some sort of generalized anti-left brand, but because we actually care about fundamental principles that undergird the foundation of the country. So yeah, as we celebrate July 4th this weekend, and obviously we should, because America is the greatest place in the history of planet Earth, and the greatest privilege you have, other than being born into a solid family, is being born in America. We obviously should celebrate, and my family will be. Hey, we're hoping for a July 4th baby. But we all have to keep in mind there's an immense responsibility that we all bear in these very perilous and difficult times politically. We need to make sure that America makes it from anniversary 250 to 251, and then to 300, and then to 500. And that only happens if we keep standing for the principles that matter. If you don't surrender to the lies of people like Tucker Carlson on the right or Zoran Mamdani on the left, who again are hugging now. You don't kowtow to communism and Marxism and socialism masquerading as some sort of common good conservatism. That you don't toe the line for America's enemies. That you don't go to Russia and sniff the bread.
Literally. Thank you, Ben.
This is a demonstration of
Thank you, Ben Shapiro. So he hits the nail on the head. This is
here's the thing. I hope Tucker launches a third.
Tucker Carlson showboating, right? This is a ploy. It's a scam. Give me attention. I'm going to turn around and I'm going to be the savior of the Republican Party. You're going to give me what I want. The war in Iran is really not bad. It's really not. It was 108 days. It was completely aerial and some sea missiles that we launched in. There were no boots on the ground. This isn't Iraq or Afghanistan. This is a very small, fast military operation that absolutely has the United States interests at heart. Donald Trump does not care about Israel. We know that because Israel is pissed at the memorandum of understanding that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance negotiated. They're pissed. Bibi is pissed. They don't like it. They hate it. They don't think it's good enough. But we stopped at our door what was good for us. That's what happened.
This is a demonstration.
Ben Shapiro's not necessarily happy with Bibi and not with Bibi, but with the deal. He's not necessarily happy with the deal. Here's Tucker Carlson himself. Let's listen to this.
I would not support the Republican Party. There's no chance I would support the Republican Party. I'm not going to support the Democratic Party. I don't know what I'm going to do. But at this point, how could I or any American voter support a political party that's not loyal to the United States?
This is a demonstration
that puts
of
the interests of a foreign
Wirecast.
country above those of its own citizens. That's it's not possible to vote for people like that, and I'm not going to. And I think I voted Republican my entire life. I worked at Fox News, CNN, MSNBC. I've been a consistent defender for 35 years of the Republican Party. I mean, very consistent defender. But there's no defending this because it's immoral, and it's exactly the opposite of what a political party in a democracy is charged with doing, which is representing its own voters, its own citizens, its own nation, and they're not doing that. So, no, I'm out. And if I'm out, then I think a lot of other people are out. I would not.
Right, like Nick Fuentes. It's a popcorn fart. I don't think it's good for the midterms. I don't. I think it's very bad news for the midterms. I think the midterms are kind of doomed anyway at this point, as we covered last night on the show. The midterms have some issues, but this isn't new. Like what Tucker's doing isn't new. It's been done on both the left and right side of the aisle. Now, if we look at we're going to go over. I think we'll talk about Teddy Roosevelt and the Bull Moose Party a little bit, but right now let's talk about the most modern standout case. It's Ross Perot and the quote unquote Reform Party. In 1992, Ross Perot ran as an independent focused on the federal deficit, opposition to trade deals like NAFTA, and government reform. As a business using infomercials and charts, he captured 18.9% of the popular vote. The strongest third-party performance since the Bull Moose Party in 1912. Perot didn't win electoral votes, but forced both parties to address the deficit. In 1995, Perot founded the Reform Party as a quote-unquote centrist, populist alternative. In 1996, running under it, he received 8.4%. The party emphasized fiscal responsibility and anti-establishment views, but later faced internal divisions and faded. Perot runs Perot's runs showed that a well-funded, media-savvy outsider could gain traction, but a sustaining party proved difficult. So is he just taking a note out of this book? Hey, listen, I think that some things are wrong in the United States, and I want them fixed, and I am not going to as one of the top 14 political influencers in the country, I'm not going to support the party that I used to represent unless they fix these few core principles that I have and I believe are best for the country. I mean, is what Tucker is doing what's good for the country, or is it good for his financial wallet? The two things could be true at once. And I'm not in his head. I don't understand his motives. I would like to think that his motives are pure. I would like to think that most people's motives are pure, even the left. They're just confused.
This is a demonstration of
So that was a huge thing with John Adams and Thomas Jefferson. We're going to go over that when we cover the 250th, but they had a huge fight, split up, became sworn enemies, and then reunited 200 years ago tomorrow on the 50th anniversary when they both passed away. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. But they used to say, John Adams used to say that, you know, the two of us can have a debate and disagreement without questioning the purity of the other's motives.
This is a demonstration
and I think that says a lot, right? But, you know, Ross Perot gained traction, but third parties never stick around. They never do anything. I mean, the Libertarian Party's been around forever, and they can't even get on a debate stage. There's probably more registered libertarians than any third party in history, but they can't get on a debate stage. Teddy Roosevelt gained traction with the Bull Moose Party in 1912. He split the Republican vote with a platform of trust-busting and reforms that helped Democrat Woodrow Wilson win.
This is a demonstration
George
of
Wallace's
Wirecast.
American Independent Party is another one in 1968. 13.5% of the vote on culture issues in the South. And then there was Ralph Nader's and his calamitous Green Party in 2000. Third parties always struggle. They never make it in the United States, despite George Washington's final address warning against them. Now, the biggest thing that they fail on is ballot access. It requires signatures and fees in every state. But the major parties, like Democrats and Republicans, qualify automatically. So there's hurdles to a third party, and both parties don't want a third party. The other struggle is winner-take-all voting. Votes for third parties are often seen as wasted, leading to strategic voting for the lesser evil. I'm a victim of this. I'm a registered libertarian. I do have my qualms with the Libertarian Party, so I do align more with the Republican Party. But when it came time to vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris, it was just too risky to send my vote the other way. So I voted for Donald Trump. So that statement is absolutely true. Now, the argument can definitely be made that you're never going to have a third party. You're never going to fix the two-party system unless you start voting for third party. That's true. But if they can't get on a debate stage and they can't get on a national level, then how are they going to change anything if I vote for them? Funding's also a problem. So Perot succeeded in visibility because of his personal wealth and direct appeals. Most others don't. So the history of third parties is sometimes they can shift debates, but they'll never replace the major parties. If you're worried about Tucker Carlson creating some third party that's going to hurt the Republican Party, he's not. He's not going to be able to do it. I mean, Elon Musk, the world's first trillionaire, tried to create a third party, the American Party, and it went nowhere. Kanye West tried to create a third party, it went nowhere. So why is Carlson pursuing this now? His stated reason sent in the disillusionment with the GOP's foreign policy direction. Basically, the Iran conflict, and that we're putting Israel first, which is just an out-of-touch view. He views it as inconsistent with non-interventional principles and prioritizes foreign interest over domestic needs. Carlson argues both parties are aligned on key issues like war and finance, leaving average American behind. He's not wrong, really. I mean, we've been at war since Vietnam, like almost nonstop. With the midterms approaching and his large audience,